So as you can see, this is my ever-growing wall of aquatics in the Frankie's blue room. And the latest edition, I've actually had this for a while, but it's been downstairs until this week. This one is by my lovely best friend, known as Kirat. That is absolutely her real name. Don't let her tell you otherwise. It's on a birth certificate and everything. I'm not having it, Kirat. Your name's Kirat. All right, Kirat. So this is it. It's made from beads. It's absolutely amazing. As you can see, if I zoom right in, it's made of thousands, literally thousands of little beads that are put on a canvas print, which eventually, with a lot of time and commitment, creates this masterpiece. So thank you so much, Kirat. I'm very, very proud to finally sport it in the Frankie's blue room. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I just wanted to give props to the artist, and anyone else that's got anything out there that they want to send and see in the background of my videos, please be sure to do so. Get in contact. I'm sure we can sort something out, because I absolutely love showcasing all the work. I think you're amazing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Frankie's Aquatics right here on YouTube. I'm getting terrible at starting these videos. I don't know what's going on. I just tend to get the giggles, or I try and think of something fun and quirky to say to open up these videos, but it just never seems to work. Never seems to work, so I'm just going to roll with it. Whatever comes out my big furry face, I'm just going to roll with it. It's going to roll with the punches. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that you've had a great week. I have had an okay week, I suppose. As some of you may have seen on my Instagram, unfortunately, I have to have more surgery on my eye, my poorly eye. So unfortunately, I've got to go in for more surgery. I'm on a waiting list at the moment, but I could be called up at any time. But I have to be put to sleep for it, and it's quite an in-depth surgery, so I'm not looking forward to that. So if I kind of go missing in action in a few weeks or months' time, you'll know as to why. But until that day, I'm going to keep doing my YouTube videos every week as promised. And this week's video I've been promising for a little while. I've had a lot of questions come through, so this is a Q&A part 2. Got my phone ready and everything. I'm ready. I'm ready for the questions. Bring them on. Bring on the questions. I'm ready. I shook the TV. Maybe I'm a bit too ready. So the first question, my aquatic question, is how many axolotls, fish and such things do you have? It's a good question, and I don't think I can count them on both hands. I have quite a lot, to be honest. I'm quite a queen, I nearly said. I'd have been a whole different video. I'm quite the queen. I'm quite the keen enthusiast when it comes to fish keeping, so I do keep many different sorts. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks set up. That's including breeding tanks as well. So I have a community tank which contains female betters and other fish. I have another tank which is divided, which contains 2 of my male betters, and then I have a single tank that's set up which did include the 3rd female that was part of the community tank. Unfortunately, she's a bit rough and ready. Her name's Agatha. You've probably met her in previous videos. So she, for everyone's safety, has gone into a segregated tank. And then just behind me, I have another tank with Pixel and Flick inside of it. And then just to the left of me here, I have a sort of tank setup, a rack system, which again you've probably seen in previous videos, which currently includes all my babies. Baby axolotls for that, not babies, because that just wouldn't quite fit. I'm a big boy, I produce big babies, what can I say? To answer that, and I've also got a koi pond. I nearly forgot about the koi pond. How can I nearly forget about the koi pond? It's one of my favourite ponds. So I do have quite a lot at the moment, so I won't guess the number, but it's a lot. Good question here. How often do you change the water in your tanks? Now this depends on the size of your tank and how many you've got and how often you feed and all sorts of different things, stocking levels and everything. But I tend to find what works great for me, and I've managed to do this over all my tanks, is I change the water every week. Once a week I go in there, I change 25 to 30% of the water, and I just find that helps keep my fish healthy. It helps keep them in good condition, and the waters are on point when it comes to water check day. So yeah, for me personally, I choose to change out between 25 and 30% of the water each and every week. So you can't really go wrong changing the water, as long as you don't completely go in a tank, scrub it down, make it absolutely spotlessly clean, and then chuck loads of water back in there and go, yeah, it's clean. Then you can't really upset the balance. You can change too much of the water, but in my opinion, I don't really think you can change it too frequently unless you're completely overkilling it. So once a week I find works great for me. Good question, by the way, good question. What is the average lifespan of an axolotl? I actually answered this in my last video, but I was a bit unsure. I was a bit unsure if it was anywhere between 10 and 15 years, but thanks to one of my great friends and subscribers, bing, has confirmed it is up to 15 years. So they're quite the commitment. For saying they're an aquatic critter, they're quite the commitment. So just bear that in mind if you're going to consider anyone in the future. How's the glasses? How's the glasses? Yeah, they're great. Fantastic. I never take them off. Glued to my head. It's so cool. Oh, so cool. I like to do this as well. I'm being serious. Wait. I mean business. How much food should I feed my fish? Now again, this depends on the fish that you're keeping. I specialise in betters, axolotls, which are not fish really, but they're still aquatic creatures. And I feed once a day. Sometimes I do vast on a weekend, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, if they're looking a little bit plump. So that if you don't want to overfeed them, because you can cause them a few more complications a little bit further down the line. So I tend to aim to feed once a day. Axolotls, they tend to eat earthworms and pellets. Pellets didn't come until quite later on, because both of my adult axolotls refused them. And then one day I just picked out the tub. You know what, I'll give it another try, pop them in, and they absolutely scoffed them all up, which does make life a little bit easier, because sometimes in this country earthworms are not readily available. You have to wait on order, and although I keep several wormeries, sometimes they're just not ready, they're not at the right stock level, and the baby worms are yet to grow out and stuff. There's loads of different key factors as to why you can't have worms readily on hand. So yes, pellets are good. For my betters, I feed them a mix of brine shrimp, bloodworm, and pellets too. There's numerous pellets on there. You've only got to really make sure that they're of a reasonable size, so that your fish can eat them. And then obviously if you own shrimp or any kind of bottom feeders, bottom dwellers, you want to make sure you've got some sort of wafer, which again will work really good for that particular critter. Here's one that we wish we all knew the answer to. How do we prevent algae? Now unfortunately, or as the Americans like to call it, algae. I quite like the term algae, to be honest, but no, we call it algae over here, I believe, unless I'm completely lying to you all. It's really a tricky one to kind of contend with, because algae builds very, very easily. It can be caused by using fake lighting, so LED lighting, that can kind of cause it if you have that on too much. It can also be caused by natural sunlight. It really is a tough one to tackle. It's that tough I've got to the point of not tackling it really. I don't try to do anything too crazy to kind of prevent it. At the end of the day, there's no harm to the fish. Some of them like to nibble on it. Some of them will even graze on it if it's on a leaf or it's on the side of a tank. They don't kind of mind it. It's us. It's purely for us. It just doesn't look very nice. It makes the tank look dirty, and it becomes a little bit of an eyesore. So the best way to challenge it is just to clean it. That's the best advice I can give you. There is chemicals out there that you can buy, and you can splash loads of chemicals in your water and just tally-ho and hope your fish will be okay with it. But there's really no need. Just do part water changes each week, like I suggested previous, and then just get in there and clean it. It's that simple. And don't be too obsessed about it. If it's on the plants and on the rocks and all that stuff and all the decor of the tank, don't stress about it too much. You'll often find that your fish will quite enjoy it. So how do you prevent it? How can you prevent it? It's really tricky. Although on saying that, one of my favourite YouTubers, The Gamer's Wife, did recently do a video actually covering on how you can best prevent algae. I don't quite know if all the techniques will work, 'cause I've not tried them myself, but she seems to have had really good success for it, so I'll put a link in the description below. How many goldfish can I keep in a tank? How long is a piece of string is the answer to that question. Unfortunately, without knowing the dimensions of your tank, I can't really help you. I do know that goldfish, I haven't kept them exclusively myself in a tank. I do have several goldfish in an outside pond, but to keep them indoors in a tank, I really couldn't advise you without knowing the size of your tank. I do know, however, that they do require a lot of space, a lot more space than we probably first think that they do. We tend to, thankfully, we've gone past the stage of little goldfish bowls, well, most of us have. But the bigger the better. Keep them in small groups, and the bigger the tank the better. And then obviously make sure your waters are on point too. It's a good one. Can I use tap water to fill up my tank? Can I use tap water to fill up my tank? Can I use tap water to fill up my tank? You absolutely can. The only thing I would suggest is you use some sort of dechlorinator and other stuff that you might need to use depending on where you're from in the world, on the globe. Make sure that your water's safe. I personally use this stuff, which is just an AquaSafe, better AquaSafe water conditioner. It basically removes all the chlorine and all that funky stuff out from the water, making the water safe for your fish. There is one called Prime as well, which I use for the axolotls, and actually I think I've even topped that up. I do believe that is even Prime in there, actually, come to think of it. Works in exactly the same fashion. It doesn't smell the best. Some people complain about its stench and is it gone off. It actually hasn't gone off. It never smells nice to begin with. It's got a horrible, almost stagnant water smell to it, really. As horrible as it is, you do kind of get used to it. But thankfully, they come with a lid, so keep the lid on. Use a couple of drops of that. It'll always tell you how to use it on the back of the tub. A couple of drops in that. Let your water stand for an hour if you can. That's what I like to do anyway. And then replace your water accordingly. Simple as that. It really is that simple. No need for bottled water. No need for any kind of fancy stuff. Just make sure you've got a good conditioner to make your water safe for your fish. What should I do with my fish while I'm on vacation? Take them with you. It's that simple. Don't know why people get so confused about this. You got on the day, just book a couple of fish. So there's going to be 2 adults, 3 children, and 16 fish tanks. Is that a problem? Hey? Of course you can't take your fish with you. As much as I'd actually quite like to take my axolotls with me, just for the... And he swore then, and then he said a naughty word. Just for the fun of it. Obviously you can't take your axolotls and you can't take your fish with you. Obviously what you're going to have to do is make sure you've got adequate care for them while you're away, i.e. a family member maybe, or if someone's staying at home. Show them weeks previous to you going on how that you choose to care for the fish. Make sure they're competent, make sure they're trustworthy, and make sure they know what they're doing. Because I've had so many horror stories of people coming back and then going, oh, my uncle Johnny's cousin's nephew came round and he overfed my fish and now they're all dead. And I think, oh, you should have prepped better. You should have prepped better. I've got surgery coming up and I'm dreading the thought of having to let other people step in and care for my fish, but you best believe I'll be vetting them very carefully. You better believe it. I'm watching you. I'm watching you, I'm telling you now. I have just set up my tank and now my fish seem to be quickly dying. What have I done wrong? No, where do I begin? Where do I begin? This could be in numerous things. This could be something as simple as you've not put a heater in if they're tropical fish. This could be something as simple as the filter that you're using is not right, or too strong, or not strong enough for the tank. But the most obvious one, or the 2 most obvious ones, is for 1, you've not treated the water, i.e. the water conditioner we're just talking about, or for 2, the tank is obviously not cycled, which is causing massive spikes in your chemical balance within your tank. I won't go into it too heavily because it does kind of confuse people, but basically when you set up a new tank you do need to cycle that tank. It sounds really kind of complex, but it's really not. When you strip away all the fancy words, it's not that difficult. The next couple of weeks I will actually do a video on tank cycling, just so I'm not telling you wrong on the spare end of a back question. It's probably down to your tank not being cycled. The best thing I suggest you do is change out a percentage of the water and keep continuously doing so until hopefully your water clears. Do check your water parameters, even if it's just with those little strips that you can buy, but preferably you want to buy an API water test kit and go from there. It's a new beginner's mistake. We've all done it. You can cycle a tank with fish in it. A lot of people don't like to do that, but you can absolutely do that. You just have to be a lot more vigilant with your tanks. You have to keep a lot more of a closer eye on the fish's well-being and the water parameters, and just make sure you're consistent with it, because if you don't, unfortunately your fish will die. That sounds dreadful, but it's true. I'm sorry. Last question. How is Pixel and Flix and all the rest of the Axolotl family? They're doing amazing. I'll be honest with you, they're doing absolutely fantastic. I am in the process, I've said it in previous videos, I am in the process of upgrading their tank. I want to get them a slightly bigger tank. Nothing too crazy, but just something a little bit bigger. probably a little bit taller, where I can put a few more little bits and bobs in there for them, but they're doing great. The babies are doing fantastic. They're all growing out at their own separate rates, but I've kind of come to terms with that. At the end of the day, they did hatch out their eggs at very different rates. They didn't all hatch at the same time like gremlins. I've come to learn that they will grow in their own rate. They're all eating great. Very few losses again. There is the odd one here and there, unfortunately, obviously for whatever reason hasn't been growing, and unfortunately over time they've passed. But on the big scale of things, they're doing fantastic, and I'm very, very proud of them. I'm actually going to say that I'm that proud to announce that they're literally a matter of weeks, if not days, if I'm honest, ready to be sold, some of them. So I am going to start listing them. I've been dreading this day. I really have. I've been dreading it because they're mine. They're my babies and I love them. They're so precious to me. My precious. But it's what it's all about as a breeder. I've got to learn to let go. And you'll be seeing, no doubt, on my Instagram or my YouTube video in the next couple of days or weeks that the babies are going to be flying the nest. So yeah, if you are interested and you're in the UK, it is collection, preferably. We do like you to come and collect your axolotls, although we can arrange a courier at your expense. But if you've got any interest and you want to ask more questions, please do feel free to ask away below. And I'm going to wrap this video up for today. I'm going to say thank you very much for stopping by and checking out my video. Again, thank you as well for the comments and the questions that I get over on Instagram. And more so, thank you to the few of you that have reached out in regards to my eye health. It's a horrible road to walk, but it's nice to know that I'm walking it with you. So sincerely, thank you very much for all your support. You're all pretty much fantastic. I don't want to get all soppy on you, but I've kind of met some wonderful people in this hobby. Fellow YouTubers to people that just jump up in the comments and just go, I love your videos. Keep doing what you're doing and I wish you all the best. You make this all worthwhile. This is my hobby, but it's something that I'm massively passionate about, and to share my hobby with you and for you guys to interact with me just makes it all worthwhile. I'm not in it for the money. This has nothing to do with the money. This is about giving back to the hobby that I absolutely know and love. Thank you all so much for stopping by and checking out today's video. Now, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also hit that little bell button, because apparently that lets you know when people upload. It's a magical thing. It's almost like, waiter! Whenever I upload, you're going to get a notification that I've uploaded. So again, thank you all for stopping by and checking out this video. And until next time, ta-ta for now. I'm going to go this way today. I'm absolutely going to go this way. Just a little testing video to make sure the audio is okay, yo. I hope it doesn't hurt your ears or mine, then everything will be just fine.